Mama didn't wake to say goodbye either. Esperanza tucked the blanket around her, hoping that the color from the blanket would slowly seep into Mama's cheeks. She put the stone on the night table, kissed Mama goodbye. Don't worry, I will take care of everything. I will be la patrona of the family now. Okay, we're going to pause there. Go ahead and take a minute to write something down that you think shows that Esperanza can be strong even in tough circumstances. Pause the video, go ahead and write something down. I'll write down what I thought of. Okay. Esperanza told Mama at the very end of what we just read that she said, I'll be la patrona of the family now, which means she'll be the leader or the head or in charge. That shows strength. She's just a kid. She's taking on a role that's not really her role because she has to. She's being strong no matter what. Go ahead and get that written down. Pause if you need more time. And we are going to keep reading on page 179. Okay. Esperanza's breath made smoky vapors in front of her face as she waited for the truck to take her to tie grapevines. She shifted from foot to foot and clapped her hands, her gloved hands, together and wondered what was so new about the new year. It already seemed old, with the same routines. She worked during the week. She helped Hortensia cook dinner in the late afternoons. In the evening, she helped Josefina with the babies and Isabel with her homework. She went to see Mama on Saturdays and Sundays. She huddled in the field near a smudge pot to keep warm and mentally counted the money she would need to bring Abuelita here. Every other week, with the small amount she saved, she bought a money order from the market and put it in her valise. She figured that if she kept working until Peaches, she would have enough for Abuelita's travel. Her problem would be how to reach Abuelita. The men went down the rows first, pruning the thick grapevines and leaving a few long branches or canes on each trunk. She followed with others and tied the canes on the taut wire that stretched post to post. She ached from the cold and had to keep moving all day long to stay warm. That night, as she soaked her hands in warm water, she realized she no longer recognized them as her own. Cut and scarred, swollen and stiff, they looked like the hands of a very old man. Are you sure this will work? Asked Esperanza as she watched Hortensia cut a ripe avocado in half. Of course, said Hortensia, removing the big pit and leaving a hole in the heart of the fruit. She scooped up the pulp, mashed it on a plate, and added some glycerin. You have seen me make this for your mother many times. We are so lucky to have avocados this time of year. Some friends of Josefina brought them from Los Angeles. Josefina rubbed the avocado mixture into Esperanza's hand. You must keep it on for 20 minutes so your hands will soak up the oils. Esperanza looked at her hands covered in the greasy green lotion and remembered when Mom used to sit like this after a long day of gardening or after horseback rides with Papa through the dry mesquite grasslands. When she was a little girl, she had laughed at Mama's hands covered in what looked like guacamole. She had loved for her to rinse her hands. She had loved for her to rinse them because afterwards Esperanza could take Mama's hands in her palms and put the palms on her own face so that she could feel their suppleness and breathe the fresh smell. Esperanza was surprised at the simple things she missed about Mama. She missed her way of walking into a room, graceful and regal. She missed watching her hands crocheting, her fingers moving nimbly, and most of all, she longed for the sound of Mama's strong and assured laughter. She put her hands under the faucet, rinsed off the avocados, and potted them dry. They felt better, but still looked red and weathered. She took another avocado, cut it in half, swung the knife into the pit, and pulled it from the flesh. She repeated Hortensia's recipe as she sat for the second time with her hands smothered. She realized that no matter how many avocados and glycerin she put on them, they would never look like the hands of a wealthy woman from El Rancho de las Rosas, because these were the hands of a poor campesina. That is where we will stop today. I want you to write one more thing down in your reader's notebook that you could use as a piece of evidence. And so pause the video and go ahead and write down one more piece of evidence. I'm not going to write one down because I want you to do it with your own brain. After you've written down the piece of evidence, I want you to turn to the page we started yesterday that talks about changes in Esperanza. Or changes in characters over time. And let's think together of some more changes we've seen in Esperanza from the beginning of the book to the end of the book. Something that I noticed is a big change is that in the beginning of the book, Esperanza used to let others take care of her. I think of how she was always waited on, how even when they first got to camp, she thought Hortensia was going to help her bathe. She hadn't even been used to taking a bath by herself. But now, Esperanza takes care of others, like her mom, and all of these other responsibilities that she had. Okay, go ahead and get that written down. Write down any other ways that you've seen Esperanza change from the beginning till the end of the book. I bet you can think of at least one more. So then you'd have 3 or 4 things in your changes over time page of your reader's notebook. That is all we have for today. I will see you in another video again tomorrow, Wednesday. Have a great rest of your day, 6th grade.